All right, guys, I'm so glad to see you all. I hope you've got a pen and paper because notes are so important in these lessons, and I got some good stuff to share with you guys today. So, we've all got blood, and I know we've all been cut or had a bleed of some sort, whether it was small or large. Today, we get to talk about blood exposure in the salon, y'all. Oh my goodness. It's a big topic. A lot of us don't realize how big of a topic it is, but it's very major. Um, y'all do realize that blood carries lots of impurities and things that could really affect us in a negative light. And so it's so important for us to know exactly what to do when it comes to having some sort of blood exposure, whether it is large or small, y'all. It's so important. So I know for myself, I'm going to share something with you guys, and it really was an experience. So, I've been an educator for quite some time, but I've been a mom for a long time too. And so, I just love all my students, and I am pretty concerned about them in such a way that sometimes I think with my heart and not always my head. So, about 10 years ago, at least 10 years ago, it's been more than that actually, I had a student, and this student was doing a haircut, a clipper cut, as a matter of fact. And while they were doing that clipper cut, something happened, and I remember him cutting himself. The student cut himself, not the client, he cut himself. But when I noticed that he cut himself, I went right to him to help. Now, mentally, I didn't think about myself. I did not think about safety. I did not think about sanitation necessarily. It was all concern. I reacted out of concern. Okay. And I got to that student. I helped him. We got him all taken care of and cleaned up, and we cleaned and we disinfected. But what I did not do is when I saw the situation, I didn't run and put on gloves before I dealt with him. Eventually I did, but I didn't do it from the very jump. Okay. No big deal because I didn't think anything of it. Y'all, you won't even understand how about 2 weeks after this situation, I'm opening the school. And as I'm opening the school, y'all, we were still dealing with fax machines. And so a fax starts coming in. And at this time, I'm the only person in this school. And the fax starts coming in, but the holder that holds the paper was not there to support the paper. So the papers are falling on the floor. So I go to pick up the papers. And you won't even believe. The papers were from a doctor's office saying that very student that I ran to help had been diagnosed as HIV positive. When I tell y'all, the way that I felt so sick to my stomach because I did not think of myself. I did not think of a situation that I could be putting myself or my family in. I just wanted to help. Y'all, when I tell y'all, that was one of the craziest ordeals. So now I put myself in a situation where now I have to see a medical professional. I need to get tested. I need to have these situations done. And y'all, that was some stress that you just can't even understand if you've never experienced it. The anxiety of waiting for these results. Okay. So, fast forward, it was just one of those things that, thank God, I was fine, but it could have panned out so much differently. So I want you to understand that when it comes to people's blood, their saliva, their urine, their poop, y'all, all of this stuff is just tainted with things that are going to negatively affect us. So it is so important that we understand that when there's an exposure, that there are steps that we got to follow to make sure that we're protected, okay? To make sure that we are safe and that our clients are safe, all right? And understand that is such a true story. It's the craziest thing. But in our industry, it is important that we look at everybody as if they've got it. They got HIV, they got AIDS, they've got COVID, whatever it is, we literally have to go into our business with the mindset that everybody's got it. So we are safer, because when we get comfortable, we get laxed. When we get like that, we let things slide. Okay. And that's super, super, it's not right. We can't do that. Okay. So I want to just kind of talk about some steps when there are some sort of exposure, some sort of situation, even if it was vomit, somebody gets sick in the salon. So remember that it's coming from their insides. We need to really be careful there, okay? So the steps, as soon as there is a situation, the first thing I need you to do is stop your service. Do not continue the service, okay? It is very important that we don't wallow or allow the blood, the vomit, the saliva to stay wherever it is. So we're going to stop the service that we're in the middle of, okay? We're going to make sure that we put on gloves to protect ourselves. Y'all, I promise, if I had a whole hazmat suit, I want to put that whole thing on, okay? We just got to protect ourselves, all right? And in the midst of us protecting ourselves, we're protecting everyone else, okay? So once we put the gloves on, if there is a blood spill, we want to go ahead and clean that wound or apply pressure if it is bleeding, okay? So if there's blood coming out, we want to apply pressure so it can stop the bleed. And now we're going to clean the wound using an antiseptic. You want to go ahead and bandage. And any of the items that you are using to wipe, to clean, to apply pressure, any of those things, they have to be double bagged, okay? So whether you're using a Ziploc, whether you're using a grocery bag, whatever it is that you're using, it needs to be double bagged. And at the end, it needs to be closed tightly. It needs to be sealed, doubly sealed, okay? Because again, we're trying to keep things from spreading. And there are bacteria and such that are airborne and can move about without you helping it. Okay. So it is important that we are using our intelligence, y'all. This is so important. Okay. That was something that I never wish on anybody else. And it took that for me to be reminded of just how important it is that we control the spread of things. And during a blood spill exposure, that is the time, that's our performance, okay? So all these other times we're practicing, we're rehearsing, but when it happens, we got to make sure that we jump into action, okay? In a safe manner, all right? So once we have done all of these steps, we have protected ourselves. Now we've got to make sure that we disinfect, that we clean and disinfect anything that was used during that exposure incident. We want to make sure that we either trash if it's a single-use item, or that we go ahead and clean if it's a multi-use item, okay? Or if we have a container that is specifically for biohazard items, okay, then that's a great place to store it until it can be cleaned, okay? Cleaned and disinfected and sterilized. But it is so important that we make these items mandatory in our business. And I tell you, when you make this kind of stuff important and mandatory at work, you do it at home too. You do it at home. And it's very important that we make it a part of us, not just a part of our business, but a part of who we are. So we're safe. We're safe all the time. And when clients see that, maybe they'll be willing to, you know what, I'm going to try her. I'm going to try him. I'm going to let him do it. I'm going to see. Because we don't always want to service ourselves, y'all. I don't want to. We need to be pampered. We deserve to be treated. But how can we pay the money if we don't know that we're truly being taken care of thoroughly? All right. So I hope you guys got it. We're going to make sure again that we stop our service and that we glove up, that we apply pressure and that we clean the wound, that we bandage that wound and we disinfect our area all before we take off those gloves, and make sure that every single thing was being double bagged and then double sealed. Okay. So it may not seem like a major one, but y'all, this is a big lesson. So we want to make sure also, those of y'all that are getting ready for state board, you're going to go and take your written exam. Guess what? This is a part of the information. It's also part of your practical exam. So this is not just something to say or something to practice here and there. It's something for us to do every time, every single time. All right. So I am so glad you guys got it. I hope you are taking those notes. I hope you are making those bullets, and make sure you get your highlighters, because the words like PPE, the words like when we talk the different disinfectants and the different things that you guys have to know for that exam or just for daily life. I want these things to stand out to you, jump off that page. So when you even go through that notebook, that the highlighted areas are sticking out. They're standing out. Okay. So we want to make sure that we're getting it all. I really hope you guys got it, get it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Again, I'm Miss CC. I'll see you soon.